Now, like companies scaled quite a bit since 2020. How have you been able to grow, like keep kind of those values and those behaviors and that culture together? Because every time you add a new person, you kind of like throwing another ingredient into the mix
Yeah.
of what you're making, right? And like, how have you guys done that? Has there been any sort of methods, methodologies, tools?
People say this every time you double in size, everything breaks. So everything that you put in place that was working then breaks. Um, and I think it's true. I kind of love that about startups. The moment I get comfortable is the moment that new skills need to be learned. Everything changes. The we tried out a lot of things, but it's much more. I would say it takes really active care and feeding, much more than I would have anticipated. We have things like we have a Slack channel called Values Kudos, where everybody in the team calls out, hey, this person really upheld trust through transparency by doing this XYZ. Kudos to, you know, Craig.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And that's been a really fun one. I really like that one because it keeps the values at the top of people's minds. And people love calling people out and people love getting called out. And it's good, it's good to recognize the team for the wins within that context of here's how we're doing it. Here's how we're, upholding this.
Yeah. I think positivity in the workplace is such a low hanging fruit. And there's like such easy little things that we can do. Like you said, people spend so much time in our organization and puts so much energy into it to really try to make it successful. And I do believe not everybody's always in the right role at the right time. People only have limited energy. So I think it's so important to like be really clear about what people's roles and responsibilities are, and then define a plan and let them just run. Because I
Mm-hmm.
think at the end of the day, I think everybody really wants to be successful. And I think as a CEO, it's just about trying to organize it in the right way to allow everybody just to be able to be the best at what they're doing.
100%. This is where you're a genius at, but learning the art of setting those OKRs, the objectives, um, to the right altitude that just let people run and achieve and think of these creative solutions to um, rising to those challenges. It's kind of a really fun experience. And like you said, there are a lot of people at the company whose roles have evolved over these last 5 years because everything has changed. And
Right.
um, yeah. And I've also seen
It's good.
people have a genius in one thing early on and then develop a totally new genius as the company evolves.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely one of my behaviors I wrote about in the book. And I've been doing this in this space for about 30 years. And one of the behaviors over and over again is learning. Like I've really identified that like in hiring and teams I work with, like if you're not willing to learn, that means you're
Mm-hmm.
not willing to change. And in the
Mm-hmm.
environment we're in, things are changing faster and faster every single day. And
So
so
fast.
like that behavior has to be important. I mean, it's one people are like, oh, it's kind of hard to suss out on someone. And I think, well, ask them questions like, what are you learning about right now? What do you like to learn about? How do you learn? If you can identify those things like in candidates, like that's really important. And I think the speed of business is only getting faster. And so that just means the faster we go, the more change we're going to have. So the hungrier people are to learn,
Yeah.
that's going to become more and more important.
Yeah.
Because everybody, especially with AI right now, everybody's job's changing. Everybody's.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong, but I think everybody should be using AI right now. And if they're not, they're going to be a little behind.
Yes. I heard AI is only going to replace the jobs of people who don't start using AI.
Right.
I wanted to call out somebody who really embodies this in our company. She started out as a UX, user experience designer, and she just taught herself everything and figured out how to use tools and automation. And she became later our head of product, which in product management was a lot of new skills for her. And she just crushed it, taught herself everything, wasn't scared of the hard work, and now she is our acting COO and injecting that kind of like self-learning and an excitement to use tools into the business as a whole. So that's Meg. She's pretty awesome.